Hello everyone and welcome to ELT Videos Think Outside the Box. My name's Sue Kay. I'm an ELT author and I've been writing materials for over 20 years with my writing partner Vaughan Jones. Over the years, Vaughan and I have written many video scripts, but in this presentation I want to talk about a new way of working on ELT videos. Recently, Vaughan and I worked on a video for a major coursebook series, and this was our first time working with Luke and James of Creative Listening. It was such a positive experience for all of us that as a result, we created APT, which stands for Author Production Team. So APT is a writing and video producing partnership, and we set it up because we realised that if you want to make really good quality ELT videos to the standard expected by today's students, then the writing and production have to be integrated from the start. Working as APT, we combine writing and production. We conceptualise and write coursebooks and ELT video content as a team. So this means that Luke and James are in the room when we are brainstorming course content and making editorial decisions. And Vaughan and I are in the studio or out on location when production decisions are being made. It's very much a team effort. In this talk, we want to show you how this way of working on ELT videos improves both the experience and the end result.
Hi everyone, my name is Luke Viner, and as well as production background, I have a teaching background, specifically ELT teaching. And when I first started teaching English after I'd studied theatre at university, I was given a upper intermediate inside out coursebook written by Sue and Vaughan, and it really saved my first few weeks of teaching. It is quite miraculous that you can do an intensive 1 month CELTA and suddenly you're thrown in front of some students. And it's wonderful working with Sue and Vaughan because I loved that coursebook. It really saved my life. I went on to teach for many more years before completing a Delta. And then later I formed Creative Listening with my big brother James, who you're going to meet in a minute. And we're an educational media production house conceptualising, writing and producing video and audio content across all age groups and all levels in mainly ELT, but also general and further education.
Hello, I'm Luke's brother James, the other half of Creative Listening. My background is script writing and production, and generally making Luke's crazy ideas a reality. We've produced the media for several coursebooks and many purposes across primary, secondary, adult and business. And working as APT, we have the experience and we passionately believe in the power of quality video as an essential teaching resource in ELT. We are ambitious in our work and we aim to close the gap in production quality between classroom video and the real world. With Sue and Vaughan, we've deeply explored the relationship between ELT author and media production, combining both processes of writing and production from the very outset is a more holistic, efficient and effective way of creating excellent teaching materials. In this age of ubiquitous video production and consumption, we believe that the key to a successful, relevant, contemporary and truly engaging ELT video is the symbiotic treatment of conceptualisation, writing, production and delivery.
We've been involved in ELT media for nearly 15 years now, and we've seen huge changes in the industry during that time. The amount of investment going into video by traditional print publishers has greatly increased and continues to grow because courses need to stand out to increase sales, and great video adds significant value. This is creating a competitive market for production teams and new enterprises selling ready-made video content for the classroom. There's also the huge popularity of YouTube teachers, which is really essentially online video. Essentially, there is a general push to promote contemporary and quality video as a learning tool, which is where our heart lies. And this provides us with the opportunity to make fantastic films and learner experiences. This is, of course, very welcome news, especially for an industry that can often be a little slow to move with the times.
Now, the question for us has always been, how can we make better ELT videos?
James and I have worked on dozens of ELT projects over the years, and one issue that frequently arises is that we get delivered scripts that are more like audio plays or podcasts than video scripts, with little to no visual or production elements included. It's really important to note that this is not the fault of the author or editorial team. Production isn't their background, so they can't be expected to know how to do this.
And then we get asked to make the scripts more dynamic and exciting, which we try our best to do. However, it's really hard to add these elements into a script that's already been written, especially a very tightly pedagogically composed ELT one.
So quite often we end up with videos that don't sound particularly natural and can be awkward to film, and as a result can be unconvincing, or at the worst appear disingenuous to our students.
So we have developed and work on a unique model which we call dynamic script writing, where we take 4 broad approaches. Creative scripting, where we ensure the content is as engaging as it can be. Production focused scripting, where we ensure the scripts contain full production notes and ideas, bringing in contemporary recording techniques and a detailed understanding of the technical production process. Budget focused scripting, where we look at creative ways of pushing the extent of the scripting within the confines of the production budget. And of course, ELT scripting, which we all know and love. In our experience, it's more than possible to keep those strong pedagogical outcomes that you get from focused ELT writing, whilst also ensuring that the scripts are appropriately designed for the production and crammed full of creative and engaging content to have huge appeal to our students.
There is often an unconscious fear that if we write or think too far out of the box and make a piece of video too ambitious, with the emphasis being on the look and feel of the aesthetic, then maybe the pedagogy will somehow get lost, or the students will get confused. On the other hand, if the sole purpose is to only teach language input, then the video will feel flat, especially at low levels, and the students will get bored. This pervading sense that you have to have one or the other and can't have both is a falsehood. You can easily have both. It just requires a bit of careful thought and planning right from the very start. We believe that writing outside the box is the best way to make sure the video content we show our students is as engaging and entertaining as it can be, while still ticking the boxes for all the required learning outcomes. So how do we write outside the box?
Well, there are concrete ways to do this. Firstly, a strong focus on characterisation. Whilst it may seem like overkill to create a detailed backstory to our scripted characters, it does help to give them a voice and an identity. This in turn means that we have more to work with when scripting, and it's especially helpful for the actors in getting into their roles. Without this characterisation, we can end up with scripts which can sound like the same character talking to the same character, all one voice with no dynamic. Secondly, surprising scenarios.
How many times have we seen or heard a character trying to find their way to the station? Could we perhaps teach directions through 3 middle-aged men arguing and mansplaining in a cafe? Sound familiar? Let's watch a clip.
Go out of the cafe, turn left, then cross the road, then turn right.
No, no, no. Go out of the cafe, turn left and cross the road. But then turn left, not right.
No, it's right.
No, it's left.
Right.
Left.
Okay, everybody, let's just relax.
Yeah, calm down. You're both wrong.
Excuse me? What?
Look, don't cross the road. Go out of the cafe and turn left. Then go straight on. The park is on your left.
So I go out of the cafe and turn left.
But don't cross the road.
No, cross the road, but then turn right.
Turn left.
I'm afraid you're both wrong.
How dare you?
I don't know who you
I'm
think.
enjoying my tea here, and suddenly you're Mr. Left or Mr. Right.
Sorry, who do you think you are?
Doesn't matter who I am, I know the way to the park. You clearly don't.
I've lived around here for 20 years.
I've lived here 21. I'm afraid I know what's going on. I know what's going on. I should know. I bet you've been walking the streets. I've been here for 20 years.
You know where the park is.
Well, I don't think you do either.
It's going from here to the park. You know the way to the park, do you?
Okay, phone directions to Newton Green, please.
Turn right.
And that was A1 beginner level.
Next, using humour, conflict, and suspense. Of course, we have to be careful with cultural sensitivities, but even within the parsnip's constraints of appropriateness and language, there is still enough room to get this into our video content, and it can have a huge impact on the quality of the video.
Engaging plots and story arcs for dramas, sitcoms and animations. For example, making videos episodic can increase learner engagement when applied correctly, and also creating curiosity about what's to come next is a great motivator, and it's how we often consume video content in the real world. Can ELT video be binge-worthy? We like to think so.
Adding production ideas to scripts. A really important part of the scripting process is the inclusion of the following. Art direction. Using colourful, engaging, often aesthetically pleasing backdrops, essentially visual elements that can also be brought back into the lesson material. They make the content more engaging, they make the scene richer.
Camera movement and trickery. Steadicam, gimbal and dolly movement shots all help to create a contemporary production.
Scene movement, or blocking scenes, is vital, essentially getting the actors to move around and not just sit or stand still, which they can often do in ELT video.
Contemporary post-production. Looking at current television shows and YouTube, Instagram and TikTok trends for transition styles, colour grading, screen graphics, etc. Let's make the visuals modern and like the real world.
Music and sound design. Sometimes overlooked in ELT, the sound design needs to enhance the video and where possible provide pedagogical backup to the language focus. And of course music. We need good music, not something that sounds like the telephone hold music on a bank's customer service line.
One thing that it's important to recognise is that ELT situational video scripts are a bit strange.
We're never going to be making a straightforward Netflix show.
We often have to put words and phrases in scripts that just don't all come up in a row in normal everyday conversation.
There's a surreal weirdness to a great ELT script because of this. If we accept that the scripts are unusual and not like the real world,
then we can run with that and work with that and come up with videos that are interesting and unique, which of course is in itself engaging to a student.
ELT is never going to be like real TV, and so we need to recognise and embrace that.
Nonsense! I reckon British food is better than ever these days.
In my opinion, British food is still really bad.
Well, if you ask me, it's your opinion that's really bad.
Ha! Spanish food is so much better, don't you agree?
To be brutally honest, no.
So you don't like Spanish food?
Not hugely.
Not even tortilla!
Do you know what I think? Tortilla is a bit boring.
Boring!
It's just egg and potato.
And onions!
That's an example of thinking visually and outside the box. I don't think I've ever seen opinions language presented on the tennis court before, but I think it works well, with each point in the discussion being emphasised by hitting the ball. When Sam disagrees with Gabi about tortilla and calls it boring, he gets a ball right between the eyes. That's what I call dynamic scripting. The target language here is obviously opinions, but our priority was not to get maximum number of examples of target language into the script, but to make the content as engaging as possible and put emphasis on story and humour. As a result, the language sounds more natural and real and less EFLese. When we come to writing lessons based on dynamic scripts like this, we find that the lessons practically write themselves. Here are some ways that we found that this team approach to ELT video writing improves the learning process for the students. Humour improves motivation. As we saw in the directions clip, humour can be used at all levels and can bring a topic potentially as boring as direction giving to life. Engaging visuals make language more memorable. Unusual and varied filming techniques make it easier to write active viewing tasks. So when a variety of filming techniques are used and the video is more than an audio with pictures, you can write more communicative and interactive viewing tasks, such as watch with the sound down and order events, or freeze frame and predict what happens next. Let's look at an example. So watch this clip without the sound and see whether you can answer 3 questions. How does Gabi feel? How does the pharmacist feel? Which parts of their body hurt? I'm guessing that you had a very good idea of the answers to the 3 questions. How does Gabi feel? How does the pharmacist feel? Which parts of their body hurt? But anyway, let's watch with the sound up now just to check.
Hello? Is anyone here?
How can I help?
Are you okay?
It's very painful.
What's painful?
Everything. My head. My throat. My eyes. My nose hurts. My ears hurt. Everything hurts.
I am sorry.
Too much noise. My head. It really hurts. Anyway, I'm sorry. What can I do for you?
I'm not feeling very well.
What are your symptoms?
I have a terrible cold.
I know how you feel.
So going back to the ways in which this way of working improves the learning process, believable characters with interesting backstories enable engaging tasks. When attention is paid to characterization in the script writing, you can write tasks that require students to imagine alternative scenarios between the characters. So, for example, role-play a discussion between Gabby and Sam about the weather. Having watched their discussion about food, I think that you can imagine what their opinions may be on Spanish and English weather. Situations students can relate to facilitate personalisation. So learning is more effective when learners apply new language to their own experience. For example, having watched the tennis clip, you could get the students to tell your partner about a dish from your country that you particularly like. Another advantage of writing video from the outset is that we can all think about product placement. In other words, how core vocabulary from the rest of the student's book may be placed in shot for recycling and reinforcement. Here's an example of a still from the video, from the beginner level video. You can see how it facilitates a vocabulary exercise because we were able to place on set target vocabulary in the shot.
So, in conclusion, we want to be thinking about the outcome from the onset.
What do we want the videos to be?
How do we want them to look?
What do we want them to teach?
Which boxes do they need to tick?
And which boxes do they need to step out and away from?
Our students are demanding great video.
So let's give it to them.
Thank you very much for joining us.
Thanks for listening.
Take care. See you next time.